Okay, so picture this. You're trying to solve a puzzle, right? But the clues are hidden not just by secrets, but by, like, the whole chaos of wartime.
Ooh, that's a good one.
WWII sirens blaring, bombs dropping, and in the middle of all that, there's this young girl trying to find her missing sister.
Sounds intense.
It is, and that's the world we're diving into today on the Deep Dive.
I always find it so fascinating how these personal stories play out against these huge historical backdrops.
Right, it's like you see how individual lives are just woven into these massive global events, and we're going to see that firsthand today.
Absolutely.
So we're taking a deep dive into Emma Carroll's Letters from the Lighthouse.
Great choice.
We've got a ton of material for this one, reviews from all sorts of angles, plot summaries, the whole deal.
Always good to be thorough.
Oh, yeah. And interviews with the author herself, even some educational resources to give us some context.
The more the merrier, I say.
For sure. And the goal of this deep dive is to, like, really get under the skin of this story. We want to understand the characters, follow the twists and turns of the mystery, and explore those deeper themes that Carroll's so good at weaving in.
I'm ready when you are.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So first things first, let's meet the people in this wartime mystery, starting with Olive Bradshaw.
Okay, Olive.
Yeah, she's 12 years old, and from what I've read, she's incredibly determined and kind of gutsy.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're facing a mystery like this with so much on the line,
Yeah.
you got to be brave, right?
Absolutely. And it's not just about her keeping going, it's how she uses her cleverness, especially with codes. It's all driven by this huge worry for her missing sister, Suki.
The family connection. That's always a powerful motivator.
Definitely. And speaking of family, there's Olive's younger brother, Cliff. He's around 7 or 8, and they really seem to rely on each other during this tough time.
Yeah, siblings can be such a source of strength in situations like that.
Totally. Now on to the person whose disappearance kicks off the whole story. Suki Bradshaw, Olive's older sister.
The missing piece of the puzzle.
Exactly. She vanishes during a bombing raid in London in February 1941.
Wow, right in the thick of it.
And what's really interesting is that Olive actually saw Suki talking to a man just before she disappeared.
Oh, so there's more to it than just getting lost in the chaos.
Right. And to add to that, Suki leaves behind this strange coded note.
Ooh, intrigue.
I know, right? Those little details just pull you right in.
They do. And thinking of the bigger picture here, it seems like Suki's disappearance might be linked to something bigger.
Yeah.
Like, from what I've gathered, she was involved in helping Jewish refugees in France, which adds a whole other layer of danger to the situation.
Right. So with Suki gone and London becoming more dangerous by the day, Olive and Cliff are evacuated to Devon.
Getting them out of harm's way.
Yeah. They end up living with Mr. Ephraim, the lighthouse keeper.
A lighthouse keeper. Now, that's an interesting character.
He's described as this solitary figure living in this remote coastal setting, and Olive starts to suspect that he might know more about Suki than he's letting on.
Ooh, secrets in a lighthouse.
Mm-hmm.
The perfect setting for a mystery.
I know, right? And then there's Esther, another evacuee who comes to live at the lighthouse.
Another piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, we learn that she's Jewish and came to England through the Kinder Transport Program, which rescued thousands of Jewish children from Nazi-occupied territories.
Wow, what a story.
I know, and because of what she's been through, she's initially very reserved, even a little unfriendly.
I mean, can you blame her? She's lost her home, her family probably living with so much fear.
Absolutely. What's really interesting is how her relationship with Olive develops over time.
From conflict to friendship, classic.
Exactly. They start off clashing, but slowly they form a bond of understanding and start working together.
It's like they realize they need each other to figure things out.
Right. And there's actually one more character we should mention, Queenie.
Queenie, okay.
Yeah, she plays a role in the story too, but the sources don't give us a ton of details about her yet.
Fair enough. Sometimes those less prominent characters can bring about some unexpected twists.
Totally. All right, so quick recap. We've got Olive, the determined girl, searching for her sister.
Right.
Cliff, her younger brother, who's there for her through it all.
Got it.
Suki, the missing sister, whose disappearance is the heart of the mystery.
Okay.
Mr. Ephraim, the mysterious lighthouse keeper.
Yeah.
And Esther, the evacuee, who becomes Olive's friend and ally.
Right, and Queenie lurking in the background.
Now that we've got the characters down, let's dive into what actually happens in Letters from the Lighthouse.
Let's do it.
So, as we said, the story starts in London during the Blitz in February 1941.
Intense times.
Oh, yeah. Carroll really paints a picture of the constant danger, the air raids, the disruption. It's during one of these raids at a cinema that Suki disappears.
So scary to think about.
Right in the middle of all that chaos. And soon after, Olive and Cliff are evacuated to Devon, sent to live with Mr. Ephraim at the lighthouse.
Such a shift in setting from the bustling city to this isolated coastal spot.
Exactly. And not long after arriving, Olive finds that coded note hidden in Suki's coat.
Ah, the coded note, so that's where it comes in.
Yeah. This note becomes like the key to the whole mystery. It suggests a connection between Suki and Devon and hints that her disappearance wasn't an accident.
Like there's something more sinister going on.
Exactly. So Olive becomes Mr. Ephraim's post girl, delivering messages around the village.
Interesting way for her to start piecing things together.
I know, right? It allows her to connect with the community, and more importantly, she starts uncovering secrets that might be related to Suki.
Clever on Carol's part, giving Olive a reason to be out and about gathering information.
Totally. And then, of course, Esther arrives at the lighthouse, and as we talked about, there's that initial tension between her and Olive.
Understandably, given everything Esther's been through.
But gradually, their conflict transforms into friendship, and they start working together to decipher the coded note and search for Suki.
It's great how their relationship becomes this driving force in the story.
And the setting itself, the lighthouse, adds so much to the mystery and suspense.
Oh yeah, you can almost feel the isolation, the wind, the waves crashing. It's like the perfect backdrop for secrets to be kept and revealed.
And as Olive keeps searching, the truth about Suki's disappearance and her involvement in a secret mission slowly comes to light.
A secret mission. What was she up to?
Well, it turns out Suki was involved in helping people escape danger, which really shows her courage and compassion.
Wow, putting yourself at risk to help others? That's incredible.
It is, and as Olive learns more about this dangerous operation, she feels compelled to help too.
So she's not just trying to find Suki, she's getting involved in the mission itself.
Right. It shows how much she cares about her sister and how brave she is herself.
I love that.
Yeah.
And in the end, all those lingering questions are answered. The loose ends are tied up, so you get that satisfying resolution.
Yeah, and what I think is so brilliant about Letters from the Lighthouse is how it blends this personal mystery with the huge historical context of WWII.
Absolutely. It makes that period of history feel so real and relatable through the eyes of these kids.
Exactly. But beyond the plot, there are some really important messages and ideas that the book explores.
Oh, for sure. Like we talked about with Olive, determination and resilience are key themes.
Right. She never gives up on finding Suki, even though she's facing so many challenges. It's a powerful message about perseverance.
And bravery shines through in so many characters. Not just Olive's search, but also Suki's involvement in that secret mission. It shows how bravery can take different forms.
I agree. And their friendship, the way Olive and Esther overcome their differences to work together, that speaks volumes about acceptance and tolerance.
Especially given Esther's experiences as a Jewish evacuee. It touches on the prejudice and discrimination that refugees face during the war and reminds us how important it is to be understanding and accepting of those who are different from us.
Exactly. And the book doesn't shy away from the difficult stuff either, like the themes of loss and grief, which were so prevalent during wartime.
Right. Olive and Cliff are dealing with the absence of their father and the uncertainty about Suki. It shows the deep personal impact of war on families.
And of course, at the heart of it all, there's that element of mystery, the secrets surrounding Suki's disappearance and the coded note. It keeps you guessing and wanting to know more.
It really does. And Letters from the Lighthouse also gives us this unique perspective on the impact of war on children.
Right. Their lives were turned upside down, evacuations, separation from loved ones, all these challenges they had to face.
It makes you think about how resilient kids can be in the face of adversity.
And ultimately, the book champions the idea of helping others. Suki's actions and assisting those in need really highlight the power of compassion and standing up for what's right.
These themes are so powerful because they're not limited to the historical setting of the book.
Right. They resonate just as strongly today, encouraging us to think about empathy, tolerance, and how we treat each other.
It's like Carol saying, these issues are still relevant. We can learn from the past and apply those lessons to the present.
Exactly. And Letters from the Lighthouse does a great job of showing both the good and the bad that existed during wartime. You see the community spirit, but also the fear and prejudice.
It's a nuanced portrayal, which makes it even more thought-provoking.
Now, if Letters from the Lighthouse sounds like your kind of book, we've got some other recommendations for you.
Hit me with them.
Okay, so if you're interested in more historical fiction set during WWII, there's The Skylark's War,
Okay.
Sophia's War, Girl with a White Dog, and Catching Falling Stars.
Those all sound interesting.
They explore similar themes and settings, but from different angles.
Nice. And what about other books by Emma Carroll?
Our sources suggest checking out Frost Hollow Hall, which is a spooky historical mystery,
Oh, I love a good ghost story.
and Secrets of a Sun King, a historical adventure with a young protagonist.
So she's got a good range within historical fiction.
She does. And if you're looking for more mystery and adventure with young leads, there's The Nowhere Emporium and Cogheart.
Got it. So those are our picks for further reading.
Yes, but before we wrap up, let's talk about the author herself, Emma Carroll.
Time to meet the mastermind behind the story.
From what we've learned, she's a British writer known for her historical fiction for children, and she's considered by many to be a top author in this genre.
Makes sense. Letters from the Lighthouse is really well written.
She's especially known for creating these strong and engaging female characters, and sometimes she adds in a touch of the supernatural or spooky, like in Frost Hollow Hall.
Ah, so she likes to keep things interesting.
Definitely. And what's really cool is that she used to be a secondary school English teacher.
Oh, wow. So she's got firsthand experience with what young readers enjoy.
Exactly. And she's been wanting to be a writer since she was a kid.
That's awesome, following her dreams.
It is, and she's super dedicated to historical accuracy in her books. She does a ton of research using all sorts of resources, even Pinterest boards.
Really, Pinterest. I wouldn't have guessed that.
I know, right? But she uses it to get all the details, right? The
Yeah.
clothes, the food, the language. It's impressive.
It makes the stories feel so much more authentic.
For sure. And she has a personal connection to the West Country of England, which is often the setting for her books. Ah, so she's drawing inspiration from places she knows and loves.
Exactly. So to sum up our deep dive, Letters from the Lighthouse is this captivating story that blends history and mystery.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
The characters, especially Olive and Esther, are unforgettable, and the book explores so many important themes like bravery, friendship tolerance, and the impact of war.
It's a story that stays with you.
Absolutely. And the language is accessible for a wide range of readers, making it perfect for anyone who enjoys a good mystery and wants to learn about history in an engaging way.
And it really makes you think about the challenges people faced during wartime, especially refugees.
It does.
Yeah.
So if you're into stories with strong characters, historical settings, and a touch of mystery, Letters from the Lighthouse is definitely worth checking out.
Agreed. Now here's a final thought for you to consider.
Okay, I'm listening.
How do those individual acts of courage, like we see with Olive and Suki, how do they shape the course of history?
That's deep.
And how can we recognize and encourage similar acts of courage and compassion in our own lives today? That's a really good question. It makes you think about the power of individual actions.
Does. And maybe this deep dive has sparked your interest in learning more about WWII or the Kindertransport program.
I hope so. There's so much to discover about that period of history.
And if you do decide to read Letters from the Lighthouse or any other similar stories, we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Definitely. We always appreciate hearing from our listeners.
So until next time, happy reading, everyone.
Happy reading.